Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome back to a special Dasher Day episode of the Christmas Countdown Show, season number 5. It's like Mambo number 5, season number 5. We're back, everybody.
Yep.
We are back. My name is Eric Petersen. I am here with my very good buddies, Danny Jordan and Chris Sisley.
Hello.
We are recording all in separate locations because we don't have our studio built right now because it's the off season. It's the off season. But we are bringing you this special Dasher Day episode. We have a great countdown today. We're going to check in how everybody's been doing over the last couple months, see how their Christmas spirit meter is clicking away. Somebody's got a train going in the background. I love that.
It's the Christmas train. It's coming in. Hold on.
The train is coming in. We are back, and we have some of our loyal, lovely Patreon members are listening in. So hello to all of you all.
Yes.
Chris, Danny, how the heck are you guys? Merry Christmas.
Oh, man. It's so good to see you, Eric. So good to see you, Chris. I've missed this, man. I can't believe. I think this is the longest break we have had since we launched Christmas Countdown in 2021. It's been like six whole months since we have been together. And I'm excited. You could feel the merriment in this virtual studio. Like you were saying, Eric, we have our Christmas Countdown crew. The Patreon fam is here. We actually have a bunch of members of the Disney Countdown Patreon fam here as well. Hello. So it's a big gathering of everyone who loves merriment and magic. But I'm doing great, man. I actually, for this occasion, I'm wearing new shoes today.
Which shoes are you wearing?
Hold on. I'm going to show you. Let's see if it works because of the green screen. Can you see these?
Ooh, are those some Christmas Crocs?
These are Christmas Crocs. Yeah, I teased these on the private Facebook group. I was at Marshall's not looking for Christmas Crocs. And there was one pair of Christmas Crocs.
Do they
and they
fit
were my
you,
size.
or did you make them fit you?
Well, my toes fit. No, they are my exact size. They fit me perfectly. And I will say the first time I went, I did not get them. I was like, come on, it's like May. What am I doing with my life right now?
It's on brand.
But I posted it to the Facebook group and everyone's like, did you get them? You have to get them. And I was like, okay. So I went back the next day and thankfully they were still there and I'm wearing them. So the spirit is high. I'm thrilled to be here. I can't wait for this thrilling countdown of the top 5 Christmas movie character switches, which was your idea, Eric, which I was so excited about. And I can't wait to hear what your picks are, but thrilled to be here. Chris, how you doing, my friend?
I almost pulled the curtain back too much. I was like, dude, we talk constantly.
We do text a lot, you and me.
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here talking about Christmas. It's the first day of summer as we record this, apparently.
Oh, is it really?
I think so. It's the solstice. It's the longest day of the year.
Oh,
the solstice.
So,
that's today?
It's today.
Yeah.
I did yoga in Times Square on the summer solstice years ago.
Oh, look at you.
Which was super
look
fun.
At you're better than us.
Do you have your own mat?
They did give me a mat. I brought my own, but they also gifted them to everybody who was there. And it said like summer solstice on it, Times Square.
Do you prefer to use your mat for that, or did you use their mat?
I think that's getting a little personal, Chris. No. No, I used mine because if you've done yoga, you know that a fresh mat can be a little slippery sometimes. You got to kind of wipe it down first.
What if you have never done yoga before? What would be the context?
Yeah. What would you say to those people?
I would say use the mat instead of using the dirty ground in Times Square is what I would advise. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
I'm fine. I'm great. Thanks for asking.
I'm thrilled that we're all together. The only person we're missing, Emilio. That's okay.
How's Emilio doing these days?
He got engaged.
I did see that. Congrats to Emilio.
Huge congrats. He got engaged, and since then, I don't hear from him. So
is he going to have a Lego wedding?
I don't know. I think he's going to have to Lego that idea.
Ooh.
Hey.
Danny
had
is
to.
Back.
I had to. I was like, somebody's got to break the seal at some point in time. And if anyone was going to do it, it was going to be me. But I think he's doing well. I see photos on my Instagram stories of him from time to time. But Emilio, if you're listening, we love you. We miss you. Congrats on getting engaged. Obviously, you know what you're going to get from us for your wedding. Right?
What's he going to get?
You're going to get a chair.
We kind of gave him a chair last year, though.
Yeah, but now it's in our storage unit.
That's true.
You know what we should give him?
It back to him.
We should give that, or let's give him a Lego chair.
Oh,
like a really small one that he can't actually sit in.
That's on brand.
That'd be pretty fun. How are you, Eric? You've been all over the place. You were just in Michigan, right?
I was just in Michigan. I was acting and directing at the Barn Theater, the theater that I sort of cut my teeth at when I was a young actor. So I love to go back there. I directed The Addams Family, and I acted in 12 Angry Men, which was very fun.
Oh, fun.
And then I just got home yesterday from Michigan, and I'm actually heading to New York in a couple of days to do a little TV thing.
When?
I'm going to be there Sunday through Wednesday.
Oh, my gosh. We're going to be ships in the night.
Are you going to New York as well?
I fly in Thursday.
Yeah, I get there. I leave on Wednesday.
Gosh, dang it.
But I'm doing that. But I've been good, I've been busy. A lot of, just life stuff with kids and, end of the school year. What we need to talk about. Have you guys seen
Is it your son?
My
Yes.
son has gone completely viral.
Yes. I was hoping you would bring that up.
This is the craziest thing. So especially if we have some of our Disney listeners in here. So my son, Miles, who you've heard on this podcast many a time, was singing at his school end of the year choir concert, right? Not that it's not a big deal, but it was not like some massive thing. It was the end of the year. They do their choir concert. They were doing all Disney movies where sort of each grade level was doing a different Disney movie.
Right.
His grade got Lion King. He had auditioned to do the solo of Pumbaa, of Timon and Pumbaa. The when I was a young warthog, and he got it, which was amazing. And we weren't sure if he would get it because honestly, Miles has had the solo like the last 3 choir concerts.
Oh,
and so we weren't sure if they might be like, okay, it's time for somebody else to get the solo. But like, he commits, and so you can't deny talent. And so he did this video. We luckily got a like front row seat only because we ended up being super late to the concert. My fault. I had one of those dad moments where Lisa was coming from work, but I was driving the kids to the concert. And in my mind, I had said when we were going to leave, but I then switched it to what time he needed to be there. Have you ever done that where it's just like I knew the time? It was like we need to leave by 4:30 to get there by 5. And then I was like, all right, we leave by 5. It was like one of those things. So we were super late, but we ended up, as we came into the church where they were performing, there was a family in the front row that had some room. And I was like, can I fit like me, my wife, and my daughter in this like 2-person spot of the pew? And they were like, yeah, fine. So we were right in the front row. Yeah. And Lisa took this great video of Miles singing, and he just committed like so hard. And we really did not work with him on this. Like he'd sang it for us, and we were like, "That's awesome,"
right?
But we didn't like coach him up on that or what to do or whatever. And so he does this singing, and he just was super committed, and he sounded great, and he just looked so adorable. And so I posted on Instagram, thinking like, our parents and our friends and family will see it, and
right, like our podcast.
Like I was like, a normal post for me that's not anything terribly exciting, gonna get a few hundred likes or views or whatever, but it's nothing like crazy.
Right.
I post it. After like 2 days, I start seeing Kristen Chenoweth has commented on it,
right?
Rosie O'Donnell has commented on it, and the views are just like going fast. So at this point right now, there's 2 videos because I posted one and then Lisa posted one, and they're slightly different videos. So it's not the same file. Like hers is a little bit longer and edited slightly different. And my video of Miles is at like 1.6 million views.
Oh,
I think
my
Lisa's
gosh.
is at like 1.4 million views or something like that.
Wait, they both blew up.
Yeah, they both blew up. And
Wow.
like people started like sending us like this came into my feed. I didn't even see it like through you. Like other people are reposting it. It has thousands and thousands of comments. And what's been really cool is that literally I've deleted maybe out of, I think there's something like 12,000 comments on it or something like that.
What?
I don't know about 12. Maybe I'm totally exaggerating that, but it's a ton. I've deleted maybe like 10 comments, and the only ones I deleted were kind of like in a way like teasing the kids behind Miles, being like, why aren't they more into it or stuff like that? And I just was like, I don't need to, like, these are kids that are my son's like friends and his classmates. Like, I don't need any negativity about them on the internet. So I've deleted
100%.
those. But other than that, all of the comments are like, this kid's so good. Like, get this kid to Broadway. He's amazing. And it has been so cool to sort of like show those to Miles and be like, dude, look at all these people that have seen your video and you're bringing so much joy. And the thing that I told him, the lesson sort of from this moment that has happened, is I said, the reason that this video is connecting with so many people is because you have two things. You have joy and you have passion.
Yeah.
And if you bring that, I said, whether you become an actor in your life or you become a businessman or a doctor or a lawyer or a policeman or a fireman, whatever you become in your life, if you bring passion and joy to what you do, you will affect people and you will resonate with people. So like never lose what it is that makes you special. And like, that is why this video is so good. It's not just that you're singing good. It's that you are so passionate and you have such a sense of joy just coming out of you. And so hopefully that's the lesson to take from it. But it's been a really cool kind of like last month or so to see this video just sort of like go all over the world.
Dude, it's wild. And like you were saying, like, you know, I think I saw you because we're friends, right? And so like it popped up in my feed, and then going through and seeing, like you were saying, Kristen Chenoweth and Betsy Wolfe and like all these huge names from the Broadway community, like chiming in with their words of support for Miles. Have like any agents reached out? Like, has it led to that?
It's funny. So we were already sort of in like conversations with the agents that Sophie has, his older sister.
Right.
And we kind of hadn't resolved whether that was going to work out or not. And then so I sent them this and they were like, yeah, let's get that contract signed. And I was like, okay. So he does now have an agent. And what's crazy is we've had, I think, three or four separate people have reached out to me through Instagram being like, hey, I'm producing a new musical and we need a young male to be the lead of it. And we'd love to talk to you about your son possibly coming to New York to, you know, play the lead. Yeah. So, I mean, they're just like things that are in workshop form, but people have been finding it and saying like, this kid's great. So it's cool. It's pretty amazing.
Isn't that wild though? But like exactly what you said, Eric, is I think what so many people in the world need to hear is that Miles wasn't standing up on that stage in front of a cell phone in hopes that like millions of people would see him and that he would get discovered. It was like, he just was performing and being in the moment for the love of performing and being in the moment. Right. Yeah. And I think like so often we've talked about this on the show before, is like you can get caught up in like creating for what you think the algorithm or what people you think people will like, rather than just being like, I like this song. I like singing with a lot of excitement and passion, and just doing that thing. That's what will connect with people, is authenticity. Right. And I think, you know, I think that's why our show works, right? Is that we never made this to be a commercial success. Like, we just made it because we're two dads who love Christmas, and we were bored in the middle of the pandemic. And so we made a podcast, you know? And so I think that's a great lesson for anyone out there, because it's so easy to get caught up in like the machine of it all. And like, well, this so-and-so did their take on this trend, so now I got to do that. No, just like be your own trend.
Do what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, I got to say this, one of my favorite parts of the video, honestly, is besides Miles nailing his bit, but as soon as he's done with his part of the solo, and then they go into Hakuna Matata, you can see him sort of like, if you're really watching for it, you can see him go from like, I'm the star of this moment and nailing it, and then it's like, I'm a part of the group that's singing Hakuna Matata. And it's like a subtle little moment, but it makes me so proud of him as like his dad, to be like, to know when it's like your moment to like step in and own it, and then when it's time to like, now it's not my moment anymore. And like, and not in a bad way, just is know how to like share the moment and share the spotlight.
Yes.
I love that little part of the video that's it. And you just see him, he's got this, you know, happy little face on it. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah. Then he sort of starts like bobbing side to side and like snapping his fingers. I know that exact moment in the video. I was like, that was brilliant, right? Like that so that's teamwork, right? Is knowing that like we are all creating this thing together, whether you're an athlete, a corporate executive, an art, you know, a Broadway performer, whatever. Like, we're all a part of the greater good sort of situation. So congrats to Miles, man. That was so darn cool, and I love that. I mean, Miles, as you obviously you know this better than anyone, Eric. He just has such like a pure heart, in pure spirit, and you just love seeing really cool things like that happen and that energy getting shared with the world.
Kid.
So
totally.
Yeah, exactly. I had a really cool thing happen with my kids on Father's Day, actually. So, like gift giving is my love language. We've talked about that ad nauseum on the show. I love giving great gifts. And my kids, I don't know if it's just a nurture or nature sort of thing, but like they've really gotten into like thoughtful gift giving as well. And so recently with some of my buddies from high school, or not even high school, elementary school, who I used to play like street ball with growing up, and we all like, traded baseball cards. The two of these guys and myself, we got back into like opening baseball card packs together. Like we'll get on FaceTime and we'll like go in on a box together and just open the packs together, like over FaceTime, which has been really, really fun. And Emerson knows that. And usually I'll give her like, if like I don't need like a Mookie Betts card or whatever, I just give it to her and she displays it. So for Father's Day, they got me a couple boxes of baseball cards to open. And so Emerson and I sat out here in my garage and opened the packs together. And the second pack in, we opened, I've never like opened on my own an autographed card before. And in the second pack, there was an autographed card by this guy named Jack Caglianone, who's like one of the top prospects for the Royals that everyone's talking about right now.
Amazing.
And it was an autographed card by him. And like Emerson, like she could tell immediately that like this was something. And like, she's like, let's go. And we're like high-fiving and like spinning around in the garage together. And then Eric, out of the 4 boxes they got me, 3 of them had autographs in them.
Whoa.
It was like, I've never seen anything like this. I was texting my buddies while it was happening. I was like, guys, you guys know better than anyone. This is not normal. And like Emerson, when she brought the box to me, she's like, Daddy, I think there's an autograph in this one. Like she just sort of like knew. And she was right. Like we got the top prospect for the Padres in there as well. Cool. And that was like a numbered card. There's only like 250 of those ever made. And it was just like, as a parent, and I'm sure other parents out there listening, like, sometimes you want to sort of like create core memories for your kids, or you try to like think like, oh, this will be a core memory. I wasn't trying to like manufacture that moment. It just sort of like happened. Yeah. And it was so beautiful. And like, she's still talking about it like all these days later. And
that's great.
It was super, super cool. So for anyone who's new to the show, clearly you can tell right off the bat that we like to talk about everything on the show, but 2, our kids are a huge part of our lives. And if you're new to the Christmas Countdown crew, and you are a parent, or even if you're not, you're dreaming of it someday, know that you're going to get a lot of family friendly content and conversation here with us. And if you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, and you've made it, almost 20 minutes in, maybe tap that subscribe button. And and if you like what you're hearing, rate and review the show. You can rate and review. Actually, you can do it on Spotify now, because you can leave comments on individual episodes, and then on Apple, you can rate. Just give us 5 stars. We would love that, obviously. And then leave a review, and we actually like to read those reviews on the podcast. Yeah, and we've got a few that have come in. Yeah, let's get to it. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. The first one here is best ever !
Aww.
From number 1 fan parentheses maybe number 1 fan maybe. And it's 5 golden stars, and it says, "You guys are the best. Listen to the podcast while making homemade Christmas cards. When I listen, I feel so good while listening to the podcast. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to listen next year." I love it.
Now, they did say in there, I feel so good while listening to the podcast. So I wonder if that is listening, or if they make their own lists while they're listening.
Or a really fun typo.
Yeah. Either way, number 1 fan, maybe.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate you. I'm sure there's a number of people in the chat who might argue with you on the number 1 fan. But, you can all be number 1, right?
That's right.
Because you're all number 1 in our heart.
Who in the chat would want to truly claim that? Like, who would step into like a dual ring saying, I am the number 1 fan? I want to see if anybody in our chat is like, yeah, that's me. I feel some of these people might.
That would be amazing if we could have a Christmas duel.
Yes.
Or it would be called a Christmas Yule.
Oh, we have at least 4 people already that are like, it's me. It's
me. Now, would it be called a Christmas Yule or a Yule duel?
Yule duel. Yule
duel.
That's great.
It has to be. Okay. How can we set that up on a future episode? Can we do that? Can we find a way to do it?
We have to like a fight.
Yeah, but they have to fight over how much they love the show, right? So they two fans enter, only one leaves. And they both have to, I mean, this is so bad, but being like, you have to prove to us how much do you love the show, and like whoever can name like the most random like callbacks to episodes that we've done in the past, then we create a winner, and we could do a whole like round robin system where it's like March Madness, and we find who is the number one fan. This could be good.
Oh my gosh, I love. You know what? Maybe people submit videos
Sure.
or like audio tracks, and then we play them throughout the season, and then at the end, the listeners vote on who they thought was the number one fan. Should we do that for season 6?
I think so. Season 5.
Or season 5. Oh my gosh. I know.
Jumping ahead. My gosh.
Well, it's because Disney Countdown's on 6, and I always get like, we were like right neck and neck for a while, and now we're not anymore. But yeah, that'll be fun. I love the Yule Duel. It's happening. Season 5. Bring it.
Get ready.
All right. Well, thank you, number one fan. Maybe if you're listening and you want to be a part of the Yule Duel, just send us an email, Kringle, at ChristmasCountdownShow.com. You can also DM us. And if
Sarah Donuts is already saying, I'm going to win and then do season 6 as well, and I'll defend my crown.
Oh, yes. She's like
the
Pete Alonso of the Yule Duel. And that's a deep cut for baseball fans.
Amazing.
You're welcome.
That was good.
Yeah, and if you want to be a part of this, crew that we keep referencing over and over again, there's a link in the episode notes to our Patreon, and you can join the private community.
Sasha said, I think it should be a close-up fight with sharpened candy canes.
Oh my gosh. Wait, should we do something like this? I know there's a lot of chatter about Chris is organizing like the first ever like in-person meetup for the Christmas Countdown crew. Is there a way for us to do it there?
A in-person fight?
A fight in New York City.
Yeah, it'll be like West Side Story.
Oh my god!
But you have to dance. All right, that'd be brilliant. That feels like a video we need to make.
Yeah,
it's like Christmas, the Yule Duel. Anyway,
it'll be. Sorry, we're gonna keep going on this. It'll be like in Anchorman, when all the different like news crews show up, and it's really epic.
News team assemble. Yeah. Oh, where'd you get those clothes? The toilet store?
Oh my god, that's so good.
Oh, it's such a great moment. Well, we are doing that. More details to come on the Yule Duel first annual. All right, we do have one more review to share before we share an email that came to us. This next one is from Mink Pom Pom. I like that name, Mink Pom Pom. Christmas now? ? Yes, please, is the title of this review. 5 stars, 5 golden stars, I should say. It just says, there is no correct time to listen or not listen. Want to feel good? Get on it.
Get on it.
I love that.
I love hearing people in the Facebook group talking about, hey, it's the middle of the year or they're off season. I'm going to go back and just start listening to Christmas Countdown again. I love that.
Dude, our show has been popping in the analytics on our host platform. I checked it the other day
in the off season,
and it was like a Tuesday or something. We had like 1,000 downloads in one day on a random like Tuesday in June, which is like, I don't know if that was just one person. Maybe that was Sarah. I don't know. Sarah and Sasha, they're just binging it over and over again. But that's just cool. We love that like people want this vibe in their life, I think, year round, and it's a gift to be able to be a part of it. So thank you, Mink Pom Pom, not only for your review, but your name as well. Love that. And that was left for us in May 19th is when that review came in.
Wow.
Yeah. Love that. We do have an email. Do you want to, this came from one of our loyal listeners, Frank.
Okay. This is from Frank. It says, hi, Danny, Eric, and crew. Just wanted to reach out and once again, thank you for the effort you put into this podcast. As I sit here on a warm Northern California Easter weekend, I'm listening to old episodes excited for the next season. In the episode I'm listening to, Top 5 Gifts for Christmas 2022, which feels like so long ago.
I know.
A listener review mentioned they found the podcast trying to find something to get them in the spirit, which is how I found it a couple of years back as well. Just hope you guys know how much your podcast resonates and brings comfort to Christmas lovers everywhere. I know that it may seem like a thankless job to put time into recording episodes, but know how much it is loved and appreciated. I also wanted to mention a possible countdown for the future. Top suggestions on how to remember lost loved ones during the holiday season. Lighting a candle on Christmas Eve, hanging their favorite ornament, etc. Thanks again, and as always, Merry Christmas. Have a blessed Easter with family, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for listening. Thank you for finding us. And that is a great idea, because we do talk about that kind of subject quite a bit, and we know a lot of our listeners that is a big part of the holidays, is remembering ones that are not with us anymore. So that's a good idea for we haven't made our list for next season yet for what our countdowns are going to be. So that could be a contender.
I like that one as well, because, I mean, again, we are anything if not very into tapping into the emotions of the holiday season. And that feels like a great one. And I think, obviously it would be emotional, but I'd like to think of like some ways to honor those people in a joyful way, around the holidays, because I know for like those who we miss the most were probably people who were a big part of like our childhood Christmases and even like adolescence and even adulthood. And to find a way, maybe it's playing their favorite song or whatever it might be, on every day or something like that. Like that would be just kind of cool. I love that idea. I'd love to find a way to incorporate that one this season.
Love it.
I think it'd be super fun. So we checked in a little bit, Eric, and got the download on you being in Michigan, which is awesome. I have a confession that has been sort of like, I haven't shared this anywhere publicly, and I feel like this is a safe space that we create here.
Okay.
And if you're open to it, I'd love to confess something to you, Chris, and the world.
Go for it.
I'm doing something very un-Christmassy currently in my life. I'm growing jack-o'-lanterns in my garden.
What?
Yeah.
Get out. Get out. What?
So we planted this garden. I built this garden in the middle of the pandemic because that's what we did at the pandemic, is you just needed something to do. And so I decided to build a garden. And it's actually become like very therapeutic for me. Like when I garden, I feel like I learn a lot about life, like this idea that you can just plant one seed and this huge plant and all these flowers sort of grow out of it. I think it's a beautiful like metaphor for life. And if things are sort of like drooping, if you water them, they spring back to life. I think it's a beautiful metaphor. But one thing I've done with the garden is I've allowed my kids to go with me to the hardware store to go pick out the seeds we're going to plant every year in the spring. And this year, my kids were really excited about the idea of planting pumpkins. But in true Christmas obsessed person fashion, someone who knows very little about Halloween, I planted my seeds way too early. Okay. Bro, I have like fully grown pumpkins in my garden right now. I'm not kidding you. Like,
what does one do with pumpkins in summer?
Bro, I ask that question every day. I literally walk out there and I go, because in my mind, I had this like romantic idea, Eric. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if like I opened the Jordan family pumpkin patch in the front yard and I just made it free for all the kids in the community to come by and pick out a free pumpkin at Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, those pumpkins are either going to be the size of a truck or they are going to be rotten.
Maybe this is how you get those like, world's biggest pumpkin. You got to grow them early so they got time.
My brother said that to me the other day. He goes, dude, just keep growing it, man. Just keep growing it. And
keep watering it.
But the problem is, like, my garden is not huge. So, like, I don't know how to get it into a position where it can keep growing because it's going to run into the wall eventually.
Yeah.
And
you might have to knock down that wall.
I mean, sacrifices.
Is it the wall to your house or is it the wall to the garden?
It's the wall to the street that parallels my house. So maybe I'll just bust a hole in it. I just have this pumpkin vine growing through the wall.
This is what it is. And then the pumpkin's going to slowly roll and like be on the street. And you're going to be like, put cones around it.
That's what I was going to say. I'll build cones around it. The Jordan family's building their award-winning pumpkin over here. We can't mess with this.
You can't mess with that. Come on.
But yeah, so like I literally, Eric, I don't like, you see pumpkin plants at the farm, right? And they don't seem, I don't know, too robust. But when you grow one in your backyard, you're like, oh man, like this could quickly like take over my entire backyard if I wasn't careful.
I don't think I think about pumpkin plants short of like one day a year when I like go to the pumpkin patch and I get my pumpkin. I think about it for the 20 minutes that I'm there and then I forget about it. But this is amazing to know that it's so aggressive.
So I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if people in the chat, if there's any gardeners out there, like, I don't know how long it's going to keep producing fruit. Do you know what I mean? Like, should I just let it keep growing and just know that in like September, more flowers will bloom, they'll get pollinated, they'll become pumpkins, or if I really just mess this whole thing up?
Your goal should be a pumpkin so big that your kids can go inside of it.
I love that idea.
That's the goal.
A buddy of mine suggested I get some pallets and sort of like raise it up so that way I can get the pumpkin off the ground.
And then it's ready for showings. It's already presented. And
bro, imagine when we do our October episodes, I'm like, Eric, I had a big crane come to my house. They had to lift this thing out of my backyard. I get on the cover of like the local newspaper. Man.
That's hilarious.
Local Christmas lover grows the largest pumpkin in Southern California history. Oh man. So that's, I don't know what my end game is with this whole thing, but I'm growing pumpkins, and really what it comes back to, Eric, as you know, as we shared earlier, it's our kids, right? Yeah. Like they got so excited about the fact that they could grow their own pumpkins and then carve them at Halloween. I was like, yes, Christmas is our thing, but like if that's something that my kids are excited about, we're going to do it. You know what I mean? Even if that means carving a pumpkin for a nice summer pumpkin soup in July. Does that sound just...
Oh, God.
What are you cooking for lunch, Dad? Pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup. It's 98 degrees outside. Hot pumpkin soup time.
No, that's just Nick Lachey.
There we go.
Hey, sorry, had to. Anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to share. Another thing, which you, Chris, and I have been chatting about is, unfortunately, recently, we lost an icon in the music world, and that is Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And
yes,
as you know, Eric, and I shared, I think in our first episode ever, like the Beach Boys were so big in my childhood. I think Little Saint Nick was like a top 5 Christmas song for me in our first countdown, or top 10. Definitely. So I thought, we talked about this over text, like, what if we just shared one of our favorite, Beach Boys Christmas songs real quick, just to sort of to honor Brian. You open to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to start?
I mean, I hate to steal the top pick, but Little Saint Nick is so good.
Yeah, is so good.
That would be my pick. I just think that Brian Williams was he was so brilliant in his
Brian Wilson, not Brian Williams. Brian Williams.
Why did I say Brian Williams? NBC nightly news anchor Brian Williams of the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson. Wow, that was odd. Thank you for that catch there, Chris. He was so great. Also, this is a quick little side note. I saw this on Facebook, and I don't know if this is true, but there was a picture that looked real. I mean, but who can tell anymore these days? Kevin Love, the basketball player, played with the Cavaliers for a while.
Yeah.
Like with LeBron. I think he was on the Lakers for a little bit. Played at UCLA. His uncle is Mike Love of the Beach Boys. So Brian Wilson was also his uncle, I think.
Wait,
is what?
What?
He said. Yes. I saw this picture when Brian Wilson passed away. He was like, we always loved going to see my Uncle Mike and Uncle Brian sing. And I was like, what? I don't know if it's true, but I saw a post.
Whoa. Wait,
yeah.
So Kevin Love's dad, Stan, is Mike Love's brother.
Right.
Whoa.
Which would make Brian Wilson, I guess, is that like your great uncle? I don't know how that works.
Or like a uncle twice removed or something like that.
Yeah.
Because Mike and Brian were cousins, right?
We're cousins, right.
That's wild.
Yeah, pretty crazy though, right? But no, Little Saint Nick is so good. I've told the story on this podcast before about how I proposed to my wife, but wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
Is one of our sort of like songs that just makes me think of my love, my Lisa, our marriage and all that. So, it's very, very sad. You know what I need to go back and watch? What was that movie with John Cusack where he played Brian Wilson? Love and Mercy or something?
Love and Mercy.
Love and Mercy.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's a good movie. And it's all about, because that Brian Wilson had major mental health issues and just sort of struggling with anxiety and trying to be like, present all the time and having all this music going through his mind. And he's just such an interesting guy. And
Yeah.
I also my last little bit about Beach Boys. Carney Wilson, Brian Wilson's daughter.
Right.
Her kids have gone to school with my kids over the years here in LA. And like, so I see her a lot at like parent events and stuff. And so I follow her on Facebook, but she posted like the cutest video of her daughter singing God Only Knows. And it was like so cool to hear like a third generation down, but still like the essence is there. It was really, really sweet. Really sweet.
What an incredible family. Like just thinking about all the music that they have made and all these touch points from, like you were sharing, Kevin Love to Carney Wilson, and now her daughter, I think, was on American Idol this season, right?
Was she?
Yeah, I think
this
so.
This was the first, I have to say this, sorry to break the flow of this. This was the first year I did not watch American Idol, and I'm very upset about it. I'm very, very upset about it. I have watched every season of American Idol from Kelly and Justin all the way until this season, and I was busy a lot, and I kept trying to get my family. I recorded all the episodes, and I was like, guys, we got to start American Idol. We're behind a couple weeks, and then we were behind many weeks, and then we watched the finale, but that was it. And I'm very upset about my lack of involvement in American Idol this year.
Well, the good news is you could probably go to Hulu and watch it from the beginning.
Yes, this is true.
There were a few famous people's kids who auditioned for the show this year. You had Carney Wilson's daughter, Lola, and then Brian Luttrell's son, the guy from Backstreet Boys.
I saw that.
He was on it too.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, it's a new age.
Nepotism, baby.
I was like, do they really need to audition for American Idol? Like, come on. But yeah, Brian Wilson, an absolute icon. I met him once at the Dodger game years ago. He just happened to be sitting like a couple sections over from me, and I was like, I got a photo with him, which was really, really cool. But I mean, yeah, when the day I got the news, and I know Chris did the same, I listened to Pet Sounds like multiple times that day. And I think I listened to it in a way that I don't know if I ever had before, because I think in a lot of ways, and maybe this comes with maturity and adulthood and all the things and perspective in life, is that I think as a kid, even a teenager, young adult, like I was like, this is just fun songs, man, about surfing, having a good time, And then you listen, really get into the lyrics of what Brian was writing and what he was communicating. And just, I was reading an article about him the day he passed. There was an article, I think it was in the LA Times, just about like when he was doing Pet Sounds, like the rest of the band was on tour, I think. And he like stayed behind and wrote the whole album and literally went through like take after take after take after new version of every song, because he just had this sound in his head that he needed to get out. And they say that when Paul McCartney listened to Pet Sounds, that's what inspired Sgt. Pepper's. He's like, we need to do something like this. Yeah. So
have
clearly a brilliant brain.
Have you ever seen the documentary The Wrecking Crew?
No.
Oh, so good. So The Wrecking Crew is what they called the group of studio musicians that helped make Pet Sounds and thousands of other classic albums of that time.
Right.
Just like this group of studio musicians that were so good, and a really cool documentary about them and how much they helped make those records, because they didn't just be like, all right, what do you want me to play? Okay, I'll play it. Like they would say, what if I did this? And they'd make these iconic changes. And but Pet Sounds was one of them that they played on. So you should check out The Wrecking Crew. Very good documentary.
Was that Phil Spector? Was he a part of that? Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't think so. He may have used them on stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. This was more just a group of like, it's like a bass player, woman bass player. I can't remember what her name is, but
okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw like Darlene Love had posted something like in tribute to Brian Wilson, and I was like, I wonder if there's like the touch points like through Phil and all these amazing studio voices and musicians of the time. But in terms of like a song I want to call out, I'd like to call out The Man with All the Toys. And I don't want to call it out simply because, one, I love the song, but two, it just opens with that classic Beach Boys harmony where there's like no music underneath. It's just like you got Brian way up top and, Mike Love way down below on the bass. And I think that's like, as I've really listened to the Beach Boys over and over again through the years, I think one of the things that draws me to their music most are the harmonies. and just like go back and listen to that one if you haven't listened to that one in a while. Listeners out there, like The Man with All the Toys is great, and it's just like the picture that Brian paints with the lyrics of that song. If you listen closely to it, it's so whimsical. It's so fantastical. This idea of like peeking into this window of Santa's workshop with him and the elves running around. It's a really, really brilliant song. So do yourself a favor, listen to that one. What do you got, Chris?
I cheated a little bit. I didn't do a Beach Boys song. I did a Brian Wilson Christmas song. He had a Christmas album that came out in 2005, 2006, around then. And I specifically, I think I picked "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." Not necessarily because I particularly like that song more than the other songs, but I really appreciate the sort of the vulnerability in his voice. It was recorded far after he had kind of stopped performing and kind of went through a lot of troubles, and he kind of destroyed his voice and all kinds of hard living and stuff. But listening to that one, it almost reminds me of like listening to like a grandfather sing Christmas carols. And I really
do. You have a recording of this? Because I've never heard this, and I would love to hear it.
It was
even a little snippet of it.
It was I can play a little bit.
That'd be great. There's also, while Chris is pulling that up, there's a great audio clip. I'm sure it's on Spotify and all the music platforms, but I listened to it on Amazon yesterday. It's these excerpts of an interview that Brian Wilson did around the holidays, like a radio interview. And it's like they take out all like the commercial breaks and where they play the songs, but it's like 2.5 minutes of just Brian talking about the Beach Boys Christmas album and who he worked with and why he picked the songs that he picked. And he had this really great insight into We Three Kings and why they did that song. And the arrangement was they really wanted to sort of pay homage to the Four Freshmen and their style of like 4-part harmony, which I thought was really cool. So if you can find that, it's like an interview with Brian Wilson or whatever, just go look for it on Spotify or Amazon. It's really, really cool just to hear his voice in that 1960s era talking about the album.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." I'll just play a second or two so we don't get cut off by YouTube.
Yeah, that I do love that era of Brian Wilson when he's older, and there was like the BBC did a really cool like thing of where they had like a bunch of, this was probably early 2000s or something, a bunch of pop stars from the UK singing God Only Knows, like one line each of God Only Knows, and Brian Wilson is in it, and he, it's when he got to that place where he kind of looks, I don't want to say lost, but very distant, but he still has, you could still hear that falsetto is just so good. Yeah.
Who his voice sounds like in that recording?
Who?
Ozzy Osbourne. It's giving a little Ozzy Osbourne to me. I'm sure AI could create that for us, but so shout out to Brian. Thank you for all the music you created. Thanks for all the memories. Actually, one more question I have about Pet Sounds. I was thinking about this listening to it the other day. Do we know why it's called Pet Sounds? Is it because it's like love songs for like your pet and like not your like dog, but like how like you have pet names for people? Are these like love songs?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I feel like a lot of those decisions were probably made under the influence of different stuff, probably
of love.
Who knows
probably
why they would have called anything.
Wait, but if we're talking about album names, this is a little segue here. I just saw a clip that aired on Jimmy Fallon like 2 nights ago. You know the band Haim, Haim? It's like the three sisters. They're actually from Valley Village, where I live. They were on Jimmy Fallon talking about their newest album, which is called I Quit. And they said the reason that it's called I Quit is because they love the movie That Thing You Do, which I love. And they said that when they were kids, they loved that movie. And so whenever they do sound check at a venue and they're like, testing their microphones, they go, I quit. I quit.
I
quit, Mr. White. Which I love that. I quote that all the time. And so they said they always do that at soundcheck. And then when they were making the file names for these new songs for this album, they kept calling them like I Quit number 1, I Quit number 2. And then once they were like, what are we going to call the title? They were like, we're just going to call it I Quit. And they were like, it's not that we're quitting music. It's more that like you're quitting this love or whatever. But I was like, and they told this whole story on Jimmy Fallon. And I was like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
The Oneaters. Let's go.
The Oneaters.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a t-shirt the other day on Facebook for Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. And I was like, I might have to buy that. That's so good.
Oh, I love those deep cuts. That's great. So do you want to jump into just a couple things about Christmas news real quick before we do a game with Chris? Hit that tune.
You got it.
We interrupt our program to bring you this
Christmas news.
Coming to you live from outside Santa's workshop. It's Jingle Bell Jordan. Sure. So
that's new, and I like it.
That just popped into my head in the moment.
that was new. He tried to sneak that in there, Chris. Jingle Bell Jordan. Woo!
That's pretty
Change
good.
his name in my contacts now.
Oh my
God.
Please create an AI image for me of like
Jordan.
Me with like a Jingle Bell like shirt on or something. I don't know. Oh my gosh, Jingle Bell Jordan. I like that. I'm gonna own that for the rest of my days. Oh, that's great. Okay, first bit of news. This one, I thought
that is the news. That's the news right there.
That's the news.
Done.
Thank you so much for coming. Jingle Bell Jordan is now my name henceforth. But then if we're gonna go with an alliteration nickname for me, then we got to come up with one for you guys.
Let it come organically. Let's not steal this moment. This
okay.
Is
All right. Jingle Bell Jordan coming in hot. Here we go. So this first piece of news, at first I thought it was a joke because it seems like a joke, but it also seems a little too good to be true. It also made me ask, why is this taking so long? And that is that Chuck E. Cheese is getting an animated Christmas special. And like a legitimate animated Christmas special.
I thought Chuck E. Cheese was like going out of business. Is this a last ditch effort to save the company?
I don't know.
Because if that's the case, that means a special about listen, folks, we're about to lose the company. We need great ideas to save Chuck E. Cheese. And some guy at the end of the table is like, what about an animated special, boss? Let's do it.
It's crazy. But it
just might work.
Sounds a little cheesy to me, but we'll give it a shot. Hey,
get a press release to Jingle Bell Jordan right
away. Well, Jingle Bell Jordan picked it up, folks. And this is like being produced by legitimate people, like the team who works on Phineas and Ferb are doing this special. And it's got voices of people who, this guy named Nathan Kress, who was on the show iCarly, will be playing Chuck E. Cheese. Somebody named Gray Griffin, who's on Avatar: The Last Bender, Nolan North from Uncharted, Kerry Walgren from Rick and Morty, somebody from Kung Fu Panda 2. It's being produced by UTA, and then a company called Happy Nest Entertainment that does kid-focused programming. So it's like, it's happening. Yeah. It's happening.
I'm laughing at something that Nikki said in the chat.
Well, now I need to go look.
She said, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. No, it was Simon was the one who started
did Simon
it.
Say it first?
Yeah.
Bravo,
people are like, I'm laugh crying. Yeah, this is happening. I mean, maybe this is what Chuck E. Cheese is needing. And frankly speaking, like, they're in the world of kids entertainment and amusement. What have all the great amusement companies done? They've done animated series. Like, why has Chuck E. never been made
left out
into something animated? Yeah. It's been left in the freezer with the rest of the cheese. Like, come on, let's go. It is coming. Now is the time. I don't know if there's a release date for this. But it's happening, and I'm excited. My kids love Chuck E. Cheese. When was the last time you guys went?
A couple of years ago for a birthday party or something. Because now when you go for a kid's birthday party, it's like you get the whole run of the place for like an hour and a half, and then and what's cool is you don't have to like pay for each game. They like basically turn all the games on, and you just get as many tokens or tickets as you can in an hour and a half, and then you know.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I kind of like that but the part of me that's like, I want my kids to understand like the value of $1 and that
Sure.
like you can't just keep swiping something over and over again with no repercussions.
Yeah.
It's kind of become like Vegas. Like arcades have become like Vegas in the sense of like, oh, I don't ever have a transaction. I just swipe my little card in front of this thing and I get to keep playing my game over and over again. But we had Riley's second birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and I wasn't planning on sharing this, but one of the cool things about when you have your party at Chuck E. Cheese is the birthday kid gets to go into this like vortex chamber.
Oh yeah.
Which if you grew up in our generation, like whenever you saw, it was usually full of money. Like you would see like on a game show or something, you're like, that is a dream. I want to do that. Well, because Riley was so young, I got to go in with her. And I came up with a technique that I don't know what made me think of it, but I literally leaned against the glass and just put my arms out so I could catch every single ticket that was like flying up in the air. And it was pretty darn epic. And it was like a dream come true. But anyway,
I can't get over the fact I need an animated special about Jingle Bell Jordan kicking in the door at Chuck E. Cheese Enterprises, being like, "We demand answers here. This is Jingle Bell Jordan, and my viewers need the truth."
I'm here to get the dirt. But yeah, well, Eric, don't tempt me with a good time. Oh, I may reach out to the Chuck E. Cheese people and see if we can get an official statement on this. And don't tempt me further, because I will see if I can get one of these people to come on our show this season. I will do it. God. I will do it. It'll be just like when we had It's a Cow Christmas on the show season 1. But that's happening.
You're going to be like, we have a special guest. His name is like, Jim Smith. And I'm like, who's Jim Smith? And it's like, he's the PR director for Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey, if it results in us getting like a lifetime supply of tokens at Chuck E. Cheese, not a bad deal. Maybe we could even gift it to a listener. Let's manifest that, a little giveaway this holiday season. Anyway, that's happening as we get more information, as I break into the Chuck E. Cheese headquarters and get the dirt on what's going down with this animated special. I will keep you guys posted. But this next one, Eric, I know this is one that excites both of us.
Yes.
Because it has to do with sports.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. NFL, they recently released their schedule for this season, and they revealed the games that will be played on Christmas Day. And part of me is a little disappointed because my team's not playing, but also I thought about it, I'm like, I'm kind of glad my team's not playing.
Yeah, you don't want to have to like get out of the Christmas Day festivities to watch a Packer game. That's terrible.
No, but it's like, like only one team can win the game. And if your team loses in like the 11 a.m. game or whatever it is.
What a bummer for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So we got Cowboys at Commanders. We've got the Lions at the Vikings, and we've got the Broncos at the Chiefs. And it is interesting to me that the NFL chose the Chiefs on Christmas Day, because it really feels like the Chiefs have become like the Christmas team. Like they were featured in that Hallmark Christmas movie last year.
Sure.
I don't know. They just sort of, the red, they feel like they just sort of become synonymous with the holiday.
Well, I mean, I think they're sort of the corporate, they're the Yankees of the NFL. They win a lot. Yeah. They're pretty clean cut. Corporations like them. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And who doesn't want to see Taylor Swift on Christmas Day? You know what I mean? Like, that's, maybe this will be the year that Travis finally proposed it to her. Christmas Day. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Anyway, that's our Christmas news in June from Jingle Bell Jordan. Kicking it over to Chris now, who's got something excited planned for us.
I do. I have a game. Let me bring it up. It's all about not being. I was on AI making a Jingle Bell Jordan picture real quick.
I almost just spit my water out of my mouth.
Wait, just wait till you see it. Anyway, so I do have a game.
Could you share it at the end of the episode? I would love to see it at the end of the episode.
We'll see. I'm revising it with some prompts.
Perfect.
We're playing a game. This one's called Thor or Burl.
Thor or Burl. That's good.
Wait, so Thurl Ravenscroft or Burl Ives?
Yeah, let me explain what's going on with this. Amazing. I'll give you a fact that applies to one of the Earls, and I'm calling them Earls from now on when I talk about them together. All you have to do is say whether or not the fact is about Thurl or Burl. And for those of you who aren't familiar with these two, Burl Ives was famous for his role as Sam the Snowman.
Yes.
And also a bunch of songs and stuff. And Thurl Ravenscroft was a vocalist in the song You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, among other things. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the facts.
Oh, geez.
So
Sorry.
be careful.
Sorry. I won't say it.
Also, one of the best names ever, by the way.
So I'll read you
Easily the best.
I'll read you some facts, and you guys can figure out together. If you want to take turns, you can do it however you want to. But just tell me who it is, Thurl or Burl.
Okay. Do you want to play as a team, Eric?
Let's play as a team.
Okay.
So which Earl was older, Burl or Thurl?
Older, like when they died, or
older when like they were born?
Oh, who was born? Okay, who? I'm gonna go. I think Burl.
Burl Ives.
Yeah.
Final answer.
So Burl. Wait, hold on. So Burl Ives. So when did his
Rudolph is in like the 40s?
Was it? I thought it was in like the 50s.
Like late. I want to say like 47.
Okay,
is my guess. And you got to think it was definitely pre-Grinch, and plus you have Thurl Ravenscroft doing the Tony the Tiger stuff all the way into the 90s when we were kids doing Tony the Tiger commercials, and I saw pictures of him, and he looked to be like in his 60s in the 90s.
Yeah,
I think it's Burl.
All right, I'm gonna go with you on this one. I'll agree.
Burl was born in 1909. Thurl was born in 1914.
Hey,
Close.
Good call.
Very good.
I remember watching an interview of Thurl Ravenscroft. Do you remember J.D. Roth, who hosted the game show Funhouse?
Yes.
So there was an interview that was like Disney Channel or something where J.D. Roth is interviewing Thurl Ravenscroft out in front of the Haunted Mansion. And for some reason, that image lives rent-free in my head, and I don't know why.
J.D. Roth was like Seth Green version 1.0.
Did you know, fun fact, he was one of the people who created the TV show Biggest Loser.
I did not know that.
He had a production company called Three Ball Entertainment. It was him and two other guys, and they created a bunch of big reality shows.
Sorry, I'm just holding back. Next one. Which Earl was featured on Andy Williams' recording of the 12 Days of Christmas?
Oh, Andy. It feels like it's got to be. It feels like it's got to be Burl, just because he.
I would go Burl too.
I'm with you on that one.
The answer to that is Thurl.
Oh,
Thurl. Damn.
Which part does he sing?
I don't know. I wrote this game 8 months ago.
Also, I just have to respond to somebody in the chat. Monty thinks that I'm kicking back a beer. It's a Diet Coke. I'm not getting drunk in the morning.
Eric's at like 10 a.m. on a Friday.
Like, this game is hard. Oh, God.
Sipping a Bruhani.
I was recording something else the other day, and I was drinking a liquid death, like a peach iced tea, and I made sure to let everybody know. It's like, I don't want you to think that I'm drinking a beer. It's way too early in the morning. Anyway, those are delicious, by the way. Not sponsored, but please send me a bunch of free ones. Anyway, here we go. Next one. Which Earl stood 6'1"?
Oh,
Thurl. Thurl was a big dude.
He did look like he was pretty tall, right?
Yeah.
Like long and lean sort of guy.
But he was like a linebacker.
But then I see, like, now I'm going back to that image of him and J.D. Roth, and I know J.D. Roth is not a big guy. And he wasn't that much bigger than...
He was Tony the Tiger, man. Come on, he's got to be big.
I know. He's just big in spirit.
Thurl.
All right. You feel passionate about it. I'll follow your lead. Okay.
Well, I deceived you a little bit with the question. As I said, which Earl stood 6'1"? That'd be Burl. Thurl stood 6'5".
Whoa!
So I was right. He was big.
He was a tall guy.
Big dude.
Wow.
Big dude.
You know, as I think about it, they were sitting down in that image. So maybe that's why he was... That's why him and JD were the same.
In this image that's ingrained in my head, I just realized that they were sitting down.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Man, 6'5". That's a big cat.
It's a big dude.
Big tiger.
But I think you got to be that big to get a voice like that, you know. That
right.
Deep resonance.
But also the thought that Burl was 6'1". I didn't think he was that tall.
Also a big guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go. Moving right along. During his junior year at Eastern Illinois University, which Earl decided football wasn't for him while listening to a lecture on Beowulf?
That's got to be Thurl, right?
Sure.
Just going back to the size aspect
Sure.
of things.
And we just said Thurl and we were wrong. So let's go Thurl on this one.
Yeah.
Thurl.
Unfortunately, it's Burl.
Oh my gosh. Burl Ives was a linebacker?
Temporarily. Like, at some point he was until he decided to act, I'm assuming. That's what Beowulf was all about. I
Sure.
guess.
Wow. I just like, now I'm looking at Burl Ives. I'm like, oh, I guess I wouldn't want to run into that guy coming through the
Don't mess with
offensive
Sam the
line.
Snowman.
Yeah, he's beefy, man.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
So here we go. We have
we're
two
killing
more
this.
left.
All right, 2 more.
During World War II, which Earl was employed as a civilian contract airline pilot that flew high-profile courier missions across the Atlantic and Pacific?
Thurl.
Wow.
Thurl.
I mean, if Burl got into acting while he was in college, then he probably didn't just immediately go,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. What war? Maybe the
World War
years will
II.
matter here.
Well,
'Cause
if Thurl was born
15.
in 1914, because the other Earl was born in 1908, I think you said?
09, right? Yeah.
So 14. So that means in 1942, World War II time, 14.
See about 29 or 30?
Thurl.
Yeah, let's go Thurl.
The answer is Thurl.
Yes! We got one. Go team.
Nice.
Yeah, some of his famous passengers included Bob Hope and Winston Churchill.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever worked with Bob Hope. Like, that would be a crazy full circle thing if, like, he flew the plane
Yeah.
and then years later, because of his work in the voiceover world, that he worked with Bob Hope. That'd be crazy. I feel like that was so much more common back then, that you just had these people who were in the military that then
Sure.
were like Ted Williams and Elvis Presley and like all these people, and then they all became major stars as well. Pretty cool.
Last one. Here we go. Which Earl was nominated for an Academy Award?
Burl.
It's got to be, right?
Burl.
Well, let's think about this, because would we consider, this goes back to a debate from our first season, Eric, is specials, are those movies, or because what would Thurl have been in that was full length, and what would Burl have been in that was full length?
I
that
feel
would
like
qualify.
Burl Ives was in other stuff other than just this Christmas stuff. He was like an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think you're right. I'm going to go with Burl as well.
Monty is telling us we're right.
They were both nominated, so it's a trick question again.
Oh,
So we were right.
Trickery.
But, Burl Ives won an Academy Award for The Big Country. So they were both nominated, but Burl took one home.
What was
Wow.
Thurl nominated for? Do you know?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
That was a
I don't
good
know.
game.
Someone
Well
look
done,
it up.
Chris.
Let us know.
Well done.
Thank you
Well
very
done.
much.
Love that. I think it's time for the list. What do you say, Danny?
Let's do this thing. I'm so ready.
We're an hour in.
Feels like a good time to start a list. So much waffle.
Here's a little bit of this first.
Here we go, folks. All right,
do
so
this.
this is going to be our top 10
Top
switched.
10?
Or
Oh,
sorry,
it's 5.
top 5. Top 5.
Okay.
Top 5 switched Christmas movie characters. So this idea is you take a movie character from a Christmas movie and you put him or her or it into a different Christmas movie character and see that you would like to see. That would be an interesting switcherino.
But they have to switch with each other, right? So, like, if you're placing one and the other, that one has to, because that was a big part of like what was challenging for me. I was like, I would love to see this person play that character, but I don't know if I'd want to see that person play that person's character.
Sure. I think one of mine, I changed up the rules a little bit, but that's okay. I've known to do that. I have to start by saying that it was hard not to put Buddy the Elf in just everything, because I think that would be just really good. Like just seeing him play all these different characters.
Agreed.
Okay, I've not numbered these, so I have to see which one I want to start with here. I'm going to start with let's start with this one. Okay. We're going to call this number 5 just for my list records here. Okay, why is it not working? Okay, I'll fix that later. Okay, so I'm going to say taking Old Man Parker, the old man from Christmas Story,
Yep.
and switching him up with Santa Scott Calvin in the Santa Claus. Basically, now I have some log lines and taglines for what these new movies would sort of
Oh my
sound like.
gosh. Okay, you went all in.
Santa Claus gets obsessed with leg lamps. Meanwhile, Old Man Parker accidentally becomes Santa, and the elves are not pleased. Some men are born jolly, others are forced into the suit. So, I'd love to see Old Man Parker dealing with like being at the North Pole and all of the elves and all of the lore and all of his new jobs. I think just seeing that grumpy old guy in that setting would be great.
Right.
And then I think seeing Scott Calvin, because if we remember early days of Scott Calvin, beginning of the first movie, he's also kind of grumpy. So I think he would do well. And he obviously has a broken marriage, so we can see where some of the fighting about the leg lamp would happen. So that's my number 5 is switching up Old Man Parker from Christmas Story with Scott Calvin Santa in Santa Claus.
I think that's brilliant because as we learn in the Christmas Story, Christmas or whatever that like follow-up movie was, like when Ralphie as a grown-up is looking back, like he's realizing like how his dad showed love. That he didn't see as a child. And so I think that would be super interesting, right? Because like the elves see in Scott Calvin this person who they think would be a great Santa, even though we maybe on the surface don't see all those great aspects about him, like to know how thoughtful the old man was and to see how he would be a Santa Claus, I think would be super interesting.
Yep.
I like that. Okay. I don't have log lines for mine.
That's fair.
That's okay. So I'm going to start with this one. This one just made me chuckle when it popped into my head. I want to swap Gus Polanski from Home Alone and Billy Mack from Love Actually.
That's pretty good.
I want to see Billy Mack walking up to Kate McCallister and like, "Hello, miss. Interest you in a ride in a
hot van?
In a hot van with a bunch of my manager, ugliest man you've ever seen." Like that whole thing. But they're both musical. They've got their great songs. So rather than like them playing the oompa oompa, sort of like music in the back of the bus. The polka, it's Billy singing, "I feel it in my fingers." And then, Kate sings that along with her. But then even better, Gus Polanski, the polka king, is actually really big in the UK.
On the BBC, like they're whatever they call it, like the number one Christmas number one. Yeah.
Yes. And he's performing with the Kenosha Kickers and they're performing polka, Damahushi polka, some Kiss Me polka. I don't know. I just think that's brilliant that he's like doing radio interviews that are broadcast all across the UK. And for some reason, people are obsessed with polka. Specifically,
and he's threatening to take off his clothes on the Christmas broadcast.
He's talking about all the girls he dated, like Billy Mack did, hanging out with Britney Spears or whomever it was.
That's pretty good. But
good. I just think they're both funny. They're both a little off color and could just easily slot into those storylines, but take it in a totally different direction.
I love that. Yeah. All right. My number 4, this is the one where it's not necessarily a full switch. It's more that I took characters from one movie and recast a different movie with those characters. So it's not necessarily the full switch, but I want to see what it is I'm going to take all of the characters from Rudolph and put them into different roles in Home Alone. Okay. So here's what you got.
Oh my God.
Playing Harry and Marv, we have Yukon Cornelius and the Abominable Snowman. So they're trying to break into the house. They're, I think Yukon is definitely Harry. The Abominable Snowman is Marv. Yes. I love seeing imagine all those moments. The snowman stepping on the nail. I mean, this is all great, right? Playing Kevin is obviously going to be Hermie. I mean, it
has to be
clear, I will protect this house, all this, right? Okay. Playing the scary old neighbor. I can't remember what his name is, but the neighbor guy.
Old Man Marley.
Old Man Marley is going to be Sam the Snowman, our friend Burl.
Yeah.
Playing Buzz. These are not, they're not all perfect, but some of them are good. Is going to be Coach Comet, the jerk reindeer coach. Who's kind of like a real jerk to that kid. That kid's got a shiny nose. That guy, Comet the coach. He's playing Buzz. Mrs. McCallister is going to be played by Mrs. Claus. That makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
Kevin, Hermie, The dad of the McCallister family is going to be played by Rudolph, because I feel like Rudolph is kind of like, what's going on? The story seems to kind of happen around him, right? And I feel like the dad in Home Alone is sort of like, what? Oh, we lost our kid? Oh, I think I closed the garage. Basically, So that makes sense. Uncle Frank is going to be played by Charlie in the Box, who's the Jack in the Box. Why are there balloons going on my screen? Did you see that?
Because it's a party, bro.
I guess so. My gosh,
you won. You won.
I guess so. Okay, so Charlie in the Box is playing Uncle Frank. The fake Santa in the scene in Home Alone will be played by the real Santa.
Ooh, okay.
And he'll give a little wink to Hermie, like, I'm the real Santa. And then the last one, Gus Polinski, the polka guy, will be played by the head elf. The elf who's like running choir practice and stuff. And
yes,
that guy is great. With a special note, his band is all the characters from Cow Christmas. I broke a bunch of rules with that one, but that's my number 4.
But that's what we do here. Oh, that was brilliant. I was trying to find a way to do like a Rudolph thing. I was like, what if you switch like Rudolph and Frosty into each other's stories? Like the reindeer is the one leading them through town. That would make you feel a little less creepy, I think, for me. And then the idea of Frosty leading the sleigh.
That's
That's pretty good. With like his corncob pipe, like that's the light, like at the front, sort of thing.
Sure. The chat is happy that I brought up Cow Christmas.
You have to.
No countdown will be complete without it.
That's because all of them had that in the pool.
How many would it take before I'd bring it up?
It was minus 5,000, by the way.
Yeah.
That was going to happen. That was so good. I love that. All right, number 4 for me. I'm going to go, with a nice, sweet little combination here, because I think they could flip-flop into each other's roles perfectly, and that's going to be Mr. E.F. Duncan, who is the owner and proprietor of Duncan's Toy Chest in Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, yeah.
Played by the great Eddie Bracken, great comedic actor from the 40s. And then I'm going to flip him with Kris Kringle from Miracle on 34th Street with Richard Attenborough.
Ooh, I like this. This is good.
They both just have such a sweet demeanor about them. There is the department store aspect of it that feels very, there's a lot of synergy there. They both just like, I believe somewhere in my heart that Mr. Duncan is Santa Claus. Like just the way that he sort of winks and he's like, Mr. Duncan's going to just take all the money and give it to the children. Like, it's just like, it's
Don't
so
they
Santa-esque.
Don't they add literally a little twinkle? Am I remembering that correctly? When he winks at Kevin, like there's literally like a little star twinkle in his eye. I could be wrong, but I feel like that happened.
I honestly think that's just Eddie Bracken's face.
It's just his face. Yeah.
I think it's just like there is a twinkle moment with Harry's tooth.
With the Harry's tooth. Maybe that's what I'm conflating the two.
Yeah. But
do you know that
something about it? Yeah.
You know that actor, what's his name? Eddie
Bracken.
Eddie Bracken. He's the owner of the Cubs in Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. He just like, he pops up in so many films. And he actually, I thought this was a fun fact about him that you'll appreciate as a Broadway person, Eric. He did a production of The Wizard of Oz at Paper Mill Playhouse back in like 2005. And he played the wizard, which I was like, of course he did. And I was like, of course, like I could be like, totally imagine him being the wizard, but also maybe being the guy at the door when they arrive in Emerald City.
Sure.
Why didn't you say so? Yeah, like he just has that voice about him.
Yeah.
But I just think like I could imagine Richard Attenborough, like the smile that he gives Susan, when, she comes to the department store and she starts to realize like, oh, he's Santa Claus. Like he could convey that same energy to Kevin in that moment. And maybe he really is Santa Claus. And then I think Eddie would be phenomenal as just the sweetest Santa Claus you've ever seen in your life in Miracle on 34th Street. So that's my number 4.
That's pretty good. I love that. All right. My number 3, I will say, once I got on this kick of recasting movies with full other casts, I really tried to get the Family Stone with Muppets, and I just the problem is that there's not many female Muppets. A lot of the Muppets are male characters, and there's lots of females, and so I was like, I ran out of it, so I abandoned that.
I mean, would Miss Piggy be the mom?
No, I think Miss Piggy would be Meredith.
Oh, okay.
The Sarah J. Parker role.
Okay.
I feel like Fozzie Bear would be the mom. Okay. Anyways, my number 3 is going to be switching Ebenezer Scrooge from A Christmas Carol in general. No specific version. With Ralphie from Christmas Story.
Ooh. Okay.
Imagine a little 9-year-old Scrooge scoffing at a Red Ryder BB gun. This is not what I asked for. Whatever it is. And then also the idea of Ralphie being this 9-year-old boy who sort of like goes on like a ghost hunting adventure because he's dealing with all these different ghosts. I like the idea of very different time periods being switched, which is very fun. So that's my number 3 is Ebenezer Scrooge and Ralphie.
Would Ralphie have his Red Ryder BB gun with him while he's hunting for the ghosts?
That's a great question. I think he would. He would try to use it and then realize that BBs go right through ghosts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help him.
Could you do a mashup of the musical version where you have Ralphie to the rescue in there when he's going to like Christmas Past and he's trying to like
multiple ghosts? That could be good. And maybe Ralphie goes back to the past and he sees why his dad is so grumpy. That there's some buried trauma and he understands his father a bit more. I don't know.
It's healing for everybody.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
I buy it. I'm in. I'd get a ticket to it. All right. So you know what? I'm going to go Scrooge as well with my next one.
Okay.
But specifically, I want to flip-flop the Scrooge from Muppet Christmas Carol with the Grinch from the live-action version with Jim Carrey. And this is why. I love the idea of the Grinch who sort of looks like a Muppet. Mm-hmm. Now being in the world of Muppets, but he's also kind of live action too. So it's like a hybrid of a human and a Muppet.
Yeah.
Where he's bridging the gap between the two worlds, which is sort of like what that movie is. Like you have the Muppets existing with humans. Like we need a character that bridges the gap. And I feel like the Grinch is such a Muppet character in his essence anyway. Like he just fits in that world so perfectly. He's fuzzy, he's grumpy. You get the big redemption heart moment at the end. I would love to see his interactions with Bob Cratchit in the counting house. I think would be brilliant. Bob Cratchit? Like I think that would be brilliant. And then just the idea of the fact that an actual man lives up at the top of like Mount Crumpet in the Who's, and it's not actually like a Who. It's just like a random old man who lives up there. Like, how did he get into this world? And he's so grumpy and he's so mean and he has all this money, but like, why is he living at the top of a mountain with all this money? Like, I think there's a lot to unpack there for sure. Like, is it palatial inside? I don't know. We'll find out. But also I just love the idea of putting our old pal, Michael Caine in the world of the Who's as well, which I think would be really fun. And
I like the idea of Michael Caine somehow in the animated Grinch where he slides along the floor like a snake. You know, where he's like that little. I'd love to see actual Michael Caine doing that kind of move. It's pretty funny.
And would he in that moment break like the fourth wall and look at the camera and go, I'm Michael Caine. They're like, how did he do that? That's the answer, because he's Michael Caine.
I love that. All right, my number 2 is going to be Clark Griswold and George Bailey, which I think was our initial sort of like example of like what you could do. My log line here is: a frustrated family man in 1940s Bedford Falls tries to electrify the holidays with 25,000 lights, while a small town baker in the 80s tries not to lose his mind when the in-laws move in. This holiday, 2 men trade lives and neither gets a bonus.
That is brilliant. Light up the holidays.
Yeah.
Now,
so, okay, let's talk about each of these being so good.
Yes.
I would love to see Clark Griswold like in that scene where there's the run on the bank and he's like, okay, and he's handing out money and he's like, do you really need that kind of, just the frustration of all that would be great. Yep. I'd love to see George Bailey with Jimmy Stewart like lighting up the, Mary, oh, it's alive. Look at all the lights. All of it. I'd love to see Jimmy Stewart have the whole monologue about, where he freaks out at the end. I just think that both of these characters really would be entertaining and interesting and funny in switched stories.
Oh my gosh, the monologue at the end in Jimmy Stewart's voice. Oh my gosh.
I'll record that for you guys all.
Can we please do that this season at some point in time? That would be absolutely brilliant. Now I'm curious though. I love the idea of like Clark lighting up Bedford Falls. Like, do we then get a Pleasantville effect in the movie where it goes from black and white to now it's in color?
I would love that.
Or slowly as his Christmas spirit is like spreading across the town, like different. And then in the end, the villain guy, I'm blanking on his name, Mr. Potter, like all of a sudden he's the last person to come into color in the movie.
That's great. At the very end.
Yeah.
His tear falls down his eye, down his cheek, and it's actually in color.
Yes. You see his skin starting to turn peach.
Slowly.
Oh my gosh. How has nobody done this?
I don't know.
Because they're not us.
That's right.
I love that one so much. Okay. This is so fun. All right. So this one, okay. I'm torn between which to put at number one. Okay. I'm going to stay in the Muppets verse and I'm going to use the Ghost of Christmas Present. Know me better, man.
Yeah,
that guy. He's so ridiculous, so big. I want to flip-flop him, tying in what you were just talking about with Clarence from It's a Wonderful Life.
Ooh,
so now,
I love that.
So now, like, rather than having this like bumbling sort of angel, you have this huge, big personality that comes into Bedford Falls.
Sure.
Where, he's about to jump off the bridge. He's like, I know me better, man. He's like, whoa, what in the world is going on? And he's just big and he's colorful and he's boisterous and bombastic. That's and funny. He can't help but like want to follow the Ghost of Christmas Present wherever he sort of takes him. And then I think the idea of like Clarence now, like he would work in the world of the Muppets so well.
Oh yeah.
And whether he's a Muppet or a human, I don't know. I think he could be either. It could be Fozzie, easily, right. Who's like now Clarence and he's just like can't figure it out and he can't understand what he's supposed to do and he feels like he's failing and all this sort of stuff. I just feel like it would. And then you've got Scrooge sort of like looking at him like, is this really happening? Like, aren't you supposed to be teaching me something here? Yeah. And you're like teaching me nothing. But then it all works out in the end. So I think those would be two fun ones to switch.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. That one makes sense. That's good.
Right.
All right. We're to our final selections here. My number one, I legitimately want to see this movie. It's going to be Buddy the Elf and John McClane from Die Hard.
Whoa. Okay.
So the log line is, one spreading Christmas cheer in Nakatomi Plaza. The other is crawling through the North Pole ductwork with a machine gun. The tagline is "Yippee-ki-yay, candy cane." But I mean, just so many iconic moments. Can't you imagine Buddy the Elf in the duct, just like crawling through like that? I could picture that immediately. I can picture him walking over broken glass with no shoes on. All of that is great in the Die Hard world. And then in the Elf world, seeing John McClane just sort of like dealing with, the walrus being like, I hope you find your dad, all that. And he's just like angry and throwing grenades and having like an Uzi. And I just think all of this is perfect.
Yeah. I'd be really interested to see his interaction with Walter Hobbs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like he'd just be like, shut up. Like, why are you such a horrible man?
Right. Like,
be nice to me.
Walter Hobbs is tough, but then Bruce Willis is just like, I'm tougher.
He totally breaks him.
He breaks him. Yeah.
He takes it as a mission when he finds out that he's on the naughty list. He's like, not for long.
Not for long. And can't you imagine him like in the office space with the like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And like, Bruce Willis trying to do that. I'd love to see that. That seems very fun.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
I think we need a picture. We need to make a shirt that is Buddy the Elf in the duct, the air duct, with like a candy cane that looks kind of like a rifle or a gun or something like that. And then Yippee-ki-yay candy cane.
Yeah.
We'll just combine the two.
Let's do it. I feel like we could take, because we already have that like Die Hard is not a Christmas movie design, and maybe we just change the middle rather than it being the villain guy. I can't remember his name, but Hans Gruber, yeah, and turn it into Buddy would be really really fun. Yeah. That's
Oh, this
brilliant.
is good.
Great list, Eric. This is so fun. If you guys have hung with us this entire time, thank you. We have missed you all so much. We've missed getting together as a team and chatting about all things merry and things not merry that have nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever, because that is what we do here, folks. And if you're new and you haven't subscribed yet and you've been hanging out with us for almost an hour and a half, what are you doing with your life? Tap the subscribe button right now. Join us. We'll be back. We've talked about maybe doing like a little Christmas in July episode. We're sort of, famous for doing that. So we may be back in July, but we'll be back with our full 5th season coming in October of this year, which we are so excited for. We'll have a bunch of countdowns for you guys. If you're not following us, please make sure you do so on social media. We are at Christmas Countdown Show on all the socials. And if you've been listening to this and you're like, gosh, I want to see the fun that these guys are having, you can actually watch full episodes on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Countdown Network. You can find all of our episodes there, our back catalog, as well as episodes of Theater Countdown, Disney Countdown, lots of fun little social content there as well. So make sure you check that out. And follow us as well. Eric, what's your social handle that the people should follow you on?
You can follow me at Eric Pete on Instagram, and then on TikTok, I think I'm at Eric Petersen 44. Petersen, SEN.
That's right. And you can follow me on Instagram at Danny Jordan. That's Jordan, like Michael Jordan, not Jordan. And you can follow
He will soon have the social handle at Jingle Bell Jordan.
Oh my gosh, don't tempt me. I don't think I can log into any more Instagrams. I have too many as it is. And then you can follow me on TikTok. I'm at _Danny Jordan. And what about you, Chris? Where can the people find you?
I'm on Instagram. You can find me there. It's your bud Chris. I have very little free time, so I do not even bother trying to do TikTok. But I'm on Instagram, so find me there. It's your bud Chris. Me. I'm your bud.
Yeah.
You post great stories over there, like that cheeseburger shirt you posted yesterday.
Cheeseburger shirt. Oh my!
That was legit. That was really cool.
I'm still considering it.
Okay.
It really looks like the rapper.
Well, Christmas is coming. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's where you can find us. And thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you're having an amazing start to 2025. And happy halfway to Christmas. From every second forward now, folks, we are closer to Christmas Day than we were to Christmas of last year.
Well, I suppose we will. Oh wait, did you give your number one?
I didn't. No,
you're about. I almost closed this out. It was feeling so wrapping it up, and then I realized.
But this is how I keep people. How I get them to listen to our social handles is I wait. I save it for the end.
Yes, very smart. Very smart.
All right, number one is going to be Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation. And I'll let you guys decide who he should be flipped with, because I've got two options here. It's either Uncle Frank from Home Alone, right?
Yeah.
Just like putting him as the dysfunction of Cousin Eddie into that family feels brilliant. Or Marv from Home Alone. So now Cousin Eddie is paired up with Joe Pesci trying, and he's just so ridiculous. He's trying to break into the house in maybe a robe and nothing else. They're both ridiculous in their own way.
Yeah.
Which one do you like more?
The chat is saying Marv.
Has it got to be Marv? Yeah.
Most of them are saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something about
they both work though. They both work.
They both work. Like Uncle Frank being like arriving and like you're upset that he's there, like, but not for the reason you think. It's just that he's a jerk. He's just an absolute jerk. And like, God, pairing him up with like Clark's father-in-law.
Yeah.
Like you could believe that Frank is the son of Clark's father-in-law, because they just have the same demeanor. But I think for the ridiculousness aspect of it all, of seeing Cousin Eddie as one of the Wet Bandits,
that's pretty good.
It's like a totally different kind of Wet Bandit. He's out there with the hose from his RV. It's ridiculous. It's our calling card. What's spraying our septic tank all over their front yard?
It's terrible.
So ridiculous. That's going to be my number one, is Cousin Eddie switching places with Marv Merchants from Home Alone.
I love it. This was a fun one. I enjoyed this list.
Yeah, me too.
People did too. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, until we meet again, please stay healthy, stay safe, enjoy the loved ones that you have with you.
Yeah.
Tell the people that you love, that you love them. And I guess we'll close it out how we always do, by saying a very heartfelt Merry Christmas
And happy holidays.
We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
We did it.
Hooray!
Huzzah.
Did it.